Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of Gamify Your Glide app. Now, if you haven't already watched episode 1, stop what you're doing, go back and watch that first. Otherwise, what you'll be seeing today will make absolutely zero sense to you. All right, so that being said, today what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up our classes sheet, we're gonna create a ranking system in our app, and we're going to configure our user profile sheet. Make sure you take a look at the description below because it includes some useful information in order to move forward towards the end of the app here. Also, if you want a copy of this app along with the corresponding spreadsheet, make sure you join my exclusive VIP membership plan below where you'll gain access to all of the Glide resources found within this video. All right, so buckle up, here we go. Episode 2 of Gamify Glide apps. All right, so last time we left off with creating our welcome screen and our onboarding experience. We were able to select a username, upload a profile image, and select a user class using swipeable cards. Afterwards, our users ended up on a user screen that looks something like this. We need to configure this, don't we? So what we're going to do today is configure this user screen, as well as introduce a ranking system and clean up our classes sheet. So before we dive into this screen, let's actually clean up our classes screen. Right now, our classes screen is just living over here in our menu. And it's possible you may never want to show this classes screen again, in which case you would just come over here to the eye and hide it altogether, and you see it doesn't exist in your menu at all. But maybe it's possible you want your users to go back and revisit the classes so they can take a look at the other classes, strengths, weaknesses, stats, and that kind of thing. So to do that, you're simply going to come over here and make it visible again, and then you can select the classes and we can configure what this portion looks like. I recommend making your classes uppercase here, make sure it's still pointing to your classes sheet, and you can configure the tab icon. All right, that looks good. So now what we need to do is just configure our classes sheet. So here we have a list of just the classes, but we can change this to whatever layout we want. Maybe something like a card layout where we are going to configure them 2 at a time since we only have 4 classes. So for this layout, I chose just the image, the header being the name of the class, and then a description. And then because we've configured this screen previously using a link to screen, we actually have to reconfigure it because this is a view details instead. So diving in here, what we're going to do is just reconfigure this. We're just going to trash all these things and re-add it like we did in our previous video. So the one thing I want to adjust is I want to put an icon before these numbers to represent that number. So for attack, I want a sword, armor, I want a shield, and a spell, I want some sort of magical symbol. I'm going to come over here to my emoji add-on in Chrome, and I grab these 3 ones, this magic, shield, and sword. Then I'll come over here to my data editor. I can do that here, or again, I can go to the data tab here. And under the attack, I'm going to make this set this precision 1. The units is going to be the sword. And I want to display it before the number like that. And let's give it a space. So it's kind of spaced out before the number. All right, I'm going to do that the same thing for the armor. So the armor is going to be the shield. Display after the number, precision 1. And for spell. And I'm going to use these icons in the future whenever we're talking about maybe spell boosts or attack boosts for the different items maybe that they earn or find along the way. Precision 1, after the number, done. All right, so that's looking good. All right, so then maybe what I want to do is display these stats for the user profile. All right, so what I need to do is come over here to my data editor, go to the user sheet, and we already have a relation to the classes that we did before, where we pulled in the class image. But now what we can do is also pull in those boost values or those stat values, again, using a lookup column here. So I'm going to add 3 lookup columns to grab those attacks. So I'm going to call this attack, and maybe we'll call this base attack. So that way we distinguish it from maybe an attack boost later on. So we're going to pull the attack and see how it pulls the icon along with it. I love it. All right, so that's our base attack. We're going to do base armor. Again, a lookup column. And then base spell. Lookup column from our relation to class and grab the spell value. All right, that looks good. Now we have some options in how we want to display this. We can either throw these values in a basic table, or maybe we can string these 3 values together side by side in a template column. we'll deal with that in a little bit. All right, so we have our users and we have our classes. And the last thing I want to do here before we create and really configure our user profile screen is create a ranking system for our users, right? We have our XP and we have our gold. And maybe with these, we want to create some icons as well, right? So for XP, our units should probably be XP, and it can come right after the number like that. And then for gold, maybe we want to include a gold icon, right? So we could do like a money bag. Let's search for money. Perfect. Or if you want to use this coin, that works too, right? So units will be gold, 10 gold after the fact, or if again, you want to be consistent and put it before everything, completely up to you. Done. Now our ranking system is going to be XP driven, meaning as they earn more experience, they'll advance further in rank. So I'm going to come over here to my spreadsheet, create a new sheet just for ranks, and I already have some information in a different spreadsheet that I'm going to copy and paste right into here. So what you're going to want to do here, as you can see, is create a few columns for your ranking system. The first one, obviously, the ranking title. The next being the minimum amount of points that your users need in order to earn that rank. The maximum amount of points before going to the next rank. An image to represent that rank. And then I also have here a color to represent that rank. This color is a hex code, and I just picked one that actually matches a color in the image itself. So to do that, here's the image. I use a Chrome extension to pick a color from a web page, and I just found, a certain brown color from this image, and I was able to paste it in as the hex code here. And so these hex codes represent the color of these images. I'm going to talk to you why I have that in just a moment, so stay tuned to the end of the video so you don't miss this advanced little option of displaying your ranks. All right, back in our app, we're going to go ahead and refresh to bring in that ranks sheet we just created. And now we're going to spend a bit of time to configure that rank sheet. So go ahead and click on ranks and just make sure everything's kind of lined up. Look at that. It found that these things were numbers. Now these are XP. So I'm going to go ahead and add in that XP value like we did on our user profile sheet. So 0 XP to 99 XP for our novice rank. See how it pulled in the images already? And this is our color code. And now we need to determine what rank we currently are at. There's a couple of ways to do that, but the easiest way I found is to actually do a pull from our user sheet. So what we need to do is grab our current XP and then compare it to the XP minimums that we see here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new column. It's going to be a math column. There's two ways to bring in a value from your user profile sheet. A template column or a math column. The template column will bring in the value as a string, meaning like letters, but we actually want numbers to compare and contrast with these number columns here. So if you don't want to bring it in as a string, you have to bring it in as a number, and to do that you use a math column instead. So I'm going to choose math. I'm going to call this user XP, and the configuration, all you have to do is just type any letter, and you see you have an ability to replace that letter with something else. That something else is going to be our user tab XP. And once again, if you don't see user at the bottom here, that means you did not configure your user profile sheet correctly. Go back and watch the beginning of the first video to make sure you've done that. All right, our precision will be 1 and our units will be XP. And then done. And you see that it filled in all of the columns with my current XP. Right now it's 0 because I have 0 XP. But if I change this to 5, you'll see that this now gets populated with 5 down the rows. All right, now what I can do is I can compare this value to the points minimum. So I'm going to choose an if then else to do that. I usually like to call my if then else's if rank, so that way I can determine which rank I'm at. And what we want to do is to say, hey, if the user XP is greater than or equal to the points minimum, then display their email address. So we'll user email, and there we go. Otherwise, we're not going to display anything. All right, so you'll see that as they climb rank, their email address will increase here as well. So if I had 250 XP, you should see my email address in the first 3 ranks. All right. So now we can determine which rank we're at by getting the last row our email address is on. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. All right, the last thing I want to do here on this screen is determine how far along I'm at within this particular rank. All right, so if I am at 250 XP, I should just be at 0% complete of the silver rank. Right? So with that, it's going to be a kind of a complicated formula, which I have already configured on a different screen. So I'm going to be looking back and forth here. And I'm going to call this progress. This is going to be a math column. And what we need to do is to determine the current XP of the user, right? And we're going to subtract that from the minimum amount needed. Okay? So you see that right now my 250 XP results in a 0 here, right? Because I'm doing 250 minus 250. Okay, so that gets us our numerator. And then our denominator is going to be the difference between the minimum and the maximum, right? We want to see it's 0 out of 499 minus 250. So we're going to do divided by, and then the max minus the min. And if you do your variables correctly, you should see that it picks them up automatically. But if it doesn't, you'll have to come in here and select which columns you're referring to here. Okay. All right, so that's good. So right now I'm at 0% complete of silver. And I want to do a 1, precision 1, and I'll throw the percentage sign at the end there. Well, maybe I don't. No, I think actually I'm not going to do a percent sign. And I'll show you why in a minute. All right, but it shows here that I'm at 0 out of 100 for my progress. Oh, which reminds me, our math column is wrong. So let's go back and edit our math column real quickly here. So in our ranks for the progress, we have it based from 0 to 1 with a precision of 1. We didn't want that. We actually want to do hundreds. So let's actually multiply our progress by 100 and then set precision to 1. Now we have a whole number here. All right, good, done. All right, so now my 249 is the max. So I have 100% here for my 249. That's exactly what I was looking for. Okay, whew, almost made that mistake. So now all we have to do is bring these values into our user sheet. So to do that, we can create a relation in our user sheet that's from our email address to the if rank. But we only want to grab one of the rows, and you see that it's going to match 3 rows because our email address exists 3 times in this sheet. So to do that, we first need to create a relation between our user sheet and the rank sheet. So I'm going to call this relation to ranks. It's going to be a relation from the email address to the ranks email address, or sorry, the if rank. And we're going to grab all of the times our email address appears here. So you see it's going to find 3 because I'm at 250 XP. All right. Now, to grab just the last match, we're not going to use a lookup column here like we did with our class stats. Instead, what we're going to do is use a single value column. And here's why. Here I'm going to add a column. It's going to be a single value column. And you see here our configuration. We can grab the first match, the last match, a random match, or we can pick which row to start on. In this case, we simply want the last match, the last time our email address appears in that if then else column, which is going to be our current rank. All right, so we're going to call this current rank, and we're going to grab from the relation of ranks the rank name. You see that it found silver. Pretty cool, right? In addition to this, let's grab all the information we possibly can. So we are silver. We're going to do another single value to grab the rank image. Again, last relation to ranks image. Done. Let's grab the color. So we'll call this rank color. It's going to be a single value. Last relation to ranks color, And the last thing is the progress, right? So we'll call this rank progress, single value, last, and then our relation to ranks progress. Okay, and then actually, let's grab our maximum value too. So rank max, single value, from the last, relation to ranks, points max. All right, so now we have a lot of data we can use for display purposes in our user profile screen. Let's do that next. All right, we're on our user profile screen, and as you can see, this is what Glide created for us, and it's not so pretty. So let's go ahead and create a nice, beautiful dashboard here that our users will see after they've signed into the app. So the first thing here, I'm just gonna trash all these components on the left-hand side and just start from a blank slate. We're gonna give this a label, my profile, and then let's give this a tab icon. The shortcut is single neutral. It gives us all single neutral people icons here. And then there's one I typically like to use, just this guy right here. Perfect. All right, so the first thing we probably want to see is their image. So I'm going to do a image. You can do an image component here to grab the user profile image, or you can use the title component because the title component now has a profile setting here. And for the image, I'm going to grab the profile picture. Details, maybe their class like healer, and then the username, just like so. All right. And then afterwards, let's show their XP and gold. Maybe we want to show that as a basic table. So I'm going to choose a basic table, and let's put it actually above the username to kind of create a header. On the right-hand side, let's choose their gold, and you see that it'll pick the icon for me, which is nice. On the left-hand side, let's do their XP, like that. So we see they have 250 XP and their gold. We have their avatar, username, their class, and if we want to, we could also display their rank along with a progress bar. With the progress bar, there's actually 3 different progress bars to choose from. I'm gonna come over here and add a progress bar. And you see I can choose a bar, a circle, or a half circle. And really, I just want a bar. I'm gonna keep it simple. Our minimum will be a 0, maximum will be 100, and the column is our rank progress here. Boom. So because I have 249 XP, I am 100% into the bronze, right? And if I were to come over here and give myself 250 XP, you see now I've started over again. So for the rank progress, we also want our title maybe to be the name of the rank here. So our current rank is silver, right? So if I choose 249, that should put me back at bronze. See that? And if I'm at 99, I'm at a novice. But when I move up to 100, you see now I'm starting off with bronze, right? 150, I'm about parts of the way through, all the way to 240, I'm almost done to bronze, and then 250, I'm finally at the silver rank. Excellent. Now, if you want to display maybe your progress underneath this progress bar, we can do that too. So I'm going to come over here to my data editor, and I'm going to create in my user sheet a rank progress display. I always use the word display at the end of my column names when I know that I'm taking some values within some other columns and combining them into what I'm actually going to display in the app. And usually it's a template column. So my rank progress display is a template. All right, so maybe we want the name, or maybe we just want the current XP. So X for XP out of the max XP, M. So I'll do X and then M, where X stands for their current XP, out of the max XP for that rank. See that? Done. And now I can display this anywhere in the app. If I want to display it at the top, I can do that. In the progress bar, I can make it part of the caption, like that. Right, that looks pretty nice. So then that way, as they rank up here, I have to go back to my data and let's give myself, 400 XP. You see I'm climbing and climbing to 499. The only thing I don't have in here is the icon of the rank. So I want to display that somewhere in here to make it look a little prettier. Maybe I can add it as an image component, like so. Ooh, not that one. Rank image. Maybe make it tiny and centered. We show the whole image. Maybe something like that. There's no great way, unfortunately, for Glide. They don't have a way for you to put your progress bar alongside of the icon. If you want to do that, we have to do some advanced tricks. Stay tuned. 3 more minutes and I'll show you how to do that. But until then, you have to display it as a separate component like this. All right. So then we have, that's it. We have our healer, right? We have our username, we have our rank, progress bar, XP, goal. That's the whole shebang right here for what we currently have as part of our user profile. All right, so our current setup is our avatar with a progress bar underneath that, and underneath that we have our rank image, and it's all kind of discombobulated. What if we wanted to wrap all 3 of those things into a single image that gets dynamically changed as they level up? Maybe our progress bar goes around our avatar, and our image rank there shows up as an overlay to our avatar. It's possible, and it uses a third-party tool called Quickcharts. Quickcharts is a way for you to quickly show a chart or other image manipulations on the fly using a URL. So think of it like as I change the website I type in, it changes the chart that's displayed. And we can use some of the information in our Glide data table to create that link. So let me show you how to do this. We're going to go over to our data editor. And we need to create a few columns here. I have it already pulled up over here just to make this video a little bit more seamless. So if you see me looking back and forth, just know that I already have it pulled up and I'm creating this for your benefit. So the first thing we have to do is create the code for Quickcharts. This is going to be a template column. So I'm going to add in a new template column, and I'm going to call this Quickchart code. All right, this template column uses JSON. So JSON is a programming language, which basically is a way for you to take values in a database, let's say, and present it through a web address. For all of you who know JSON better than I do, I probably butchered that explanation. So basically what this is doing is we're designating to Quickchart's website that we're going to look for a radial gauge. That's the radial progress bar. And we have some data sets coming in. We're going to pull in their progress, 0 out of 100. We're going to choose the color of the progress bar. And we are going to choose the image that gets displayed in the middle of this radial gauge. So those are the 3 variables we're going to use here. You see I'm designated by an underscore, P underscore, but really this can be whatever you want it to be as long as it's unique. So you could do something like star P for progress, and then star C for the color, and then star I for image. As long as it doesn't show up anywhere else in any of this text, then you're good to go. We're creating a variable here. All right, so now we're going to replace these 3 variables with column entries that we have in this Glide data table. So I'm going to add 3 replacements. Okay. We're going to do the star P, the star C, and the star I. All right, so the star P is the progress, that's 0 out of 100. The star C is that color we chose, the rank color. And the star I is going to be our image. So I'm going to choose the profile picture for now. Hit done. Okay, the next thing we have to do is craft the URL that Quickcharts recognizes as an image. And it needs to be % encoded. Basically a fancy word meaning it needs to be encoded so that it can be recognized on the interwebs. So to do that, we can use Glide's new construct URL column, which automatically % encodes the URL you're creating here. All right, so follow along with me here. The protocol, this is your HTTPS. Okay. The host is going to be Quickcharts. and it's going to be quickchart.io. That's their website. .io. And the path we're going to create here is chart. So we're going to create that radial chart. Okay, there's two parameters we're going to send. The first one is the background color. I recommend transparent. That way, whether or not you have a light themed app or a dark themed app, it'll look pretty. Okay, and the next one is the actual chart code. I'll just say C for now, where C is going to be the chart code. Yes, and definitely choose C. C is what it's looking for here. Okay, done. Okay, and that now generates, I forgot to name it. We'll call this radial chart. Okay, so our chart URL, if I were to copy this and go to a new tab and paste it, okay, you see that you have all these little percent signs in there. That's the percent encoding from that construct URL. And if I hit enter, I should see a radial gauge with my image in the middle. Fingers crossed. Hey, look at that. All right, so cool. So here's my image in the middle. And you see that it is encapsulated inside my progress bar. And we see that our progress bar color is silver. Right? Because that silver is my current rank. That's cool. Now, if I were to change my rank XP to 230 so that I am a bronze rank, I should have a different color radial chart along with a different progress bar. Just like that. So see how it matches the color of my rank based on the hex code that I'm bringing in from the ranks sheet. Very cool. All right, so the last thing we want to do here is what if we want to overlay our rank image on top of here? Quickcharts has a solution for that too. So all I have to do is create a second link construct column. So what we're going to do here is we'll call this rank avatar display. This one, again, is not going to be a template column, but a construct URL. Okay, our protocol will be the same thing. We're going to have our protocol be HTTPS. Our host will be quickchart.io. And our path, instead of chart, they have a separate feature called watermark, which lets you overlay an image on top of another image or on top of an existing chart that you've created with Quickchart. How cool, right? All right, and so we need a few things here. We need to have some more parameters. There's actually five we're going to use. All right, the first parameter name is main, capital I image, then capital URL, like so. And this main image URL, that's going to serve as the chart we just created. So the triple dots, we'll choose the Quickchart radial chart here. All right, next, the parameter name is the mark image URL. And you're typing in camel case here. The mark image URL is what image you're overlaying on top of the chart. In this case, we want our rank image. So we'll choose our triple dots and choose our rank image. Okay, the next three parameter names have to deal with positioning of that rank image. We want it to be, you can choose wherever you want, but for mine, I want mine in the bottom left-hand corner of that avatar. So here, the first one we're going to do is mark ratio. This tells you how big that icon should be in comparison to the avatar. So I want my rank image to be maybe 30%. So I'll do a 0.3, maybe 0.3 of the overall image. Okay, the next thing is we're going to position that icon where we want it. They do have some preset ones like position. I could type position and then do like bottom left, like that. But I found that it puts it like way too far out. So instead of that, I'm actually going to specify the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. position X and position Y. And if you don't know what any of these things do, that's okay, just copy what I'm doing here. So position X, I'm gonna say 100, and position Y will be 300, and that'll place it kind of in the bottom left-hand corner here. All right, that should be all we need. I'm gonna hit done. And if I take this link and come over here to my new tab and paste this in, if I did everything correctly, I should have an image at the bottom left-hand corner of my avatar. Look at that, that's how cool that is. All right, so now I have my rank image at the bottom left-hand corner with my progress bar going around, and this is dynamic, meaning as the values change in the app, so will the image, so will the progress bar. All right, just so you see how it's dynamic, I'm gonna come over here and add this to my app. Now this is an image. I can take this and drag it to my desktop as an image, right? Or display it in my app. So back on my screen here, I'm gonna go ahead and just trash these things because I'm gonna create this from scratch. I'm gonna hit the plus, I'm gonna add in an image, and that image is not gonna be my profile picture, but rather this rank avatar display we just created. Boom, look at that. All right, now it's awfully big, so let's make that a little bit smaller. I'm gonna do a 3:2 display. Yes, that looks fantastic. If you want it even smaller, you can make it a 3:1 display and just make sure you show the whole image like that. Okay, so 3:1, 3:2, 1:1, square, right? I recommend 3:2 or 3:1. Just depending upon how much space you want on your sheet here. Okay, and now I did have this set up for you automatically. So if you look in the description below, you should see that I have this Quickchart code already ready to go for you here, along with a transformation of the avatar image. So this Cloudinary transformation is going to take whatever profile picture you have and make it fit with inside of that Quickchart code. So as long as you take this and copy and paste it as is, you're good to go. Okay, and then again, you can just adjust your variables like you see here in the this template column. Okay, which means if I were to change my profile picture to anything else, you should see that it should fit automatically inside of that progress bar. Boom. See how it fits? Doesn't matter the dimensions. I got it to fit perfectly. All right, so let's choose a different one just so you see it. Or I can even upload one. Let's upload this guy. Okay, and you should see that that gets changed automatically, like so. All right, so it should fit just like that. And just so you see how this is dynamic, if I go to my data here and adjust my XP to 240, right, you see that I now have a farther progress. If I change it to 250, I should now be at the silver rank. Boom, like that. All right, so if I do like 300, I'm now farther along in my rank here. So, all right, let's play with this. So now that we have this really cool progress bar with the rank image, with our profile image, let's go ahead and add in the other information. Right, we already have our XP and we have our gold. All we have to do is add in our name. So let's add in some text. Let's center that. Username is already there. Great, let's make it headline 1, boom, or maybe headline 2. Let's do that. You can make it all caps if you'd like. Underneath that, I could also place healer, or we could display that in a basic table. So our basic table could be just like we did on our welcome screen, where we have our class image on the right, and then we have the name of the class on the left, like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, if you wanted to, you could also make it a relation, since we already have a relation to the class, like this, where the image is the image, title is probably the class name, details could be nothing, like this. And what that will do is actually take you to the page here. That's kind of nice. So, pick your flavor. If you like a bigger icon with the healer and they can navigate right to the tab here, okay, or the basic table, it's more a little bit minimal, but clicking on it doesn't do anything. Completely up to you. I think I'll leave the relation for now. Okay, so that concludes episode 2. We were able to create our user profile screen, create a ranking system, clean up our classes sheet, and use a couple of tricks using Quickchart to dynamically create a really cool progress bar avatar with our overlaying rank right on top of it. So that way, as our users level up, they'll see it right there on their dashboard. All right, if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave me a comment below or find me at Twitter @rpetito. And as always, thanks for watching.